It's summertime, so all I wanted to do was read romance books and relax. However, the US Supreme Court is pissing me off, and the United States voting public is pissing me off. Therefore, I have to read books where they're educational as well, so we're all making informed decisions. So, in addition to romance, we're going to be reading some books about politics, history, economics, and sociology. Let's get into it. Hola, mi gente. Miss Malcolm Hughes here. Welcome back. I'm coming to give you all my July TBR, the books that I plan on reading this month. As I said at the beginning of the video, this is going to be a very romance heavy summer, and it still will be, but there are very serious issues going on in our country, very grave decisions that are being made around the preservation of our democracy and what we know. So we're going to read those works as well between now and November so that I can do my part in making sure that folks are knowledgeable and making wise choices. I can't tell anyone who to vote for or what areas to prioritize, but I do want to give information. So that's what you're going to see with the books that I'm going to be reading from now to November. There will be romance, there will be fun, there will be seriousness. Because though life is about balance and we have to remember joy always, we also have to be informed and be serious. So here are the books that I'm reading in July. As you all know, I had a poll up on the channel where you all could vote and help decide one of the books that I was reading this month. You all did that, so thank you. That is something that I will do periodically going forward. But the book that you all chose is A Love Song for Ricky Wilde by Tia Williams. This is one I wanted to read anyway, so I was very excited that you all selected it. And you probably already know, but if you don't, here's what it's about. Ricky Wilde has many talents, but being a Wilde isn't one of them. As the impulsive, artistic daughter of a powerful Atlanta dynasty, she's the opposite of her famous socialite sisters. Where they're long stem roses, she's a dandelion. An adorable bloom that's actually a weed, born to float wherever the wind blows. In her bones, Ricky knows that somewhere a different, more exciting life awaits her. When a regal nonagenarian Miss Della invites her to rent the bottom floor of her Harlem brownstone, Ricky jumps at the chance for a fresh beginning. She leaves behind her family, wealth, and chaotic romantic decisions to realize her dream of opening a flower shop in New York City. And just beneath the surface of her new neighborhood, the music, stories, and dazzling drama of the Harlem Renaissance still simmers. One evening in February, as the heady, curiously off-season scent of night-blooming jasmine fills the air, Ricky encounters a handsome, deeply mysterious stranger who knocks her world off balance in the most unexpected way. Set against the backdrop of contemporary Harlem and 1920s decadence, A Love Song for Ricky Wilde is a modern fairy tale of two passionate artists drawn to the magic and romance of New York and whose lives are irreversibly linked. So, that's this one. Another book that you all could have voted for but did not select, but I want to read it anyway, is This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. Kennedy Ryan, I'm doing a book haul soon, and you'll see like a bunch of Kennedy Ryan books. I'm a fan. She has a new dedicated reader in me. Here's what the book is about. Soledad Barnes has her life all planned out because, of course she does. She plans everything. She fixes everything. She's never met a party she couldn't host or a charge she couldn't lead. But none of her varied talents help her when the life she built with the man who was supposed to be her forever goes poof in a cloud of betrayal and disillusion. There's no time to grieve. She's too busy keeping a roof over her daughters' heads and food on the table. And in the process of saving them all, Soledad rediscovers herself. From the ashes of a life burned to the ground, something bold and new can rise. But when Judah Cross, brilliant, single dad, and absolute last man she should want but can't seem to resist, enters the picture, can she trust him? Can she trust herself? After all she's lost and found, is she brave enough to take the risk for what could be? You know, I really enjoyed Before I Let Go. I'm looking forward to reading this one. And I'm super looking forward to the Hendrix story. That was my favorite character. Another book that I will be reading this month following the romance-centric theme is On Us by Nina. Avery went against everything to be with Kai, her sister Ivy, who she loved more than anyone in the world, and Van, who had taken care of her like she was his own blood, told her for years Kai was no good. Their relationship didn't start ideally, but the love she had for him began long before they became public to the world. What was once a fairy tale turned into a nightmare, and Avery felt like it was karma. She didn't have any business with Kai then, and the torment she had been put through showed they weren't meant to be together presently. Lake Porter, a man who dedicated his life to taking care of his brothers and living by his father's word, finally catches up to the feelings he tried so hard to fight. Love wasn't in the cards for him, and he had come to terms with that until a pretty, sometimes crazy, vibrant woman shows him that he isn't so cold and his heart did pump. She isn't fazed by his mean persona and deadly dark eyes. Lake, out of his comfort zone and in the presence of a woman so alluring with energy so contagious, he finds himself at the end of a bullet from the love gun. He quickly finds out that being with a woman of his choosing comes with baggage that he doesn't mind carrying. But will Lake be able to break her from the curse that is his sworn enemy? I feel like reading that synopsis just told me about the book. We're going to see, because right now, we'll see if my prediction comes true. I'm feeling like Avery and Lake, because Kai is Lake's sworn enemy. He hates him. And I know that from reading Front Street Porter. So Avery and Lake would be a weird and interesting duo. I don't know if I would like it, but we'll see what happens when I read the book. Now, as I told you all, because y'all, like, the human race, specifically people who can vote in America, and 6 of the Supreme Court justices of the United States of America have me upset. I was big mad. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw. But because of that, I think that we as a nation need to be learned again and understand what we're doing, because I feel as if the preservation of our nation isn't being held above power and personal gain. And that's pissing me off. But because of that, we are going to read a couple of texts so that we can all talk about where we are, where we stand, what our nation was supposed to be built upon, what we were fighting against at the time, and whether or not we are reverting back to that or something even darker. So one of the works that I will read in part is the selected writings of Thomas Paine. There are 6 of his writings that focus on government, power, and man's ability to think, that I really want to come and discuss on the channel for all of us to ruminate on and consider what we're doing. You all will see more of this in my wrap up. And if you're not aware of who Thomas Paine is, look him up. I'll talk about that more when I do my review. All right, the next book we're going to read is one that I've started and stopped a number of times, but I want to read it in its entirety this time so we can discuss it. And that is Hillbilly Elegy, a memoir of a family and culture in crisis by J.D. Vance. You all may have heard of this or remember it. This was really big initially when Trump was running for president, because a lot of people felt as if this was telling the story of the other side and of Trump's supporters. So let's read it and let's talk about it. Apparently there's a Netflix series. May or may not check that out. No promises. But here's what it's about. Hillbilly Elegy is a passionate and personal analysis of a culture in crisis, that of white working class Americans. The disintegration of this group, a process that has been slowly occurring now for more than 40 years, has been reported with growing frequency and alarm, but has never before been written about as searingly from the inside. J.D. Vance tells the true story of what a social, regional, and class decline feels like when you were born with it hung around your neck. The Vance family story begins hopefully in post-war America. J.D.'s grandparents were dirt poor and in love and moved north from Kentucky's Appalachia region to Ohio in the hopes of escaping the dreadful poverty behind them. They raised a middle-class family, and eventually one of their grandchildren would graduate from Yale Law School, a conventional marker of success in achieving generational upward mobility. But as the family saga of Hillbilly Elegy plays out, we learn that JD's grandparents, aunt, uncle, sister, and most of all, his mother struggled profoundly with the demands of their new middle class life, never fully escaping the legacy of abuse, alcoholism, poverty, and trauma so characteristic of their part of America. With piercing honesty, Van shows how he himself still carries around the demons of his chaotic family history. A deeply moving memoir with a share of humor and vividly colorful figures, Hillbilly Elegy is the story of how upward mobility really feels, and it is an urgent and troubling meditation on the loss of the American dream for a large segment of this country. Controversial, but I'm looking forward to it. Let me know in the comment section down below any books around these topics that you would like for me to discuss. I have tons that we will be reading from now to November that I'll come and share here and discuss. But I am interested in what you all are reading about the topic. How do you all edify yourselves? How do you educate yourselves on these topics? Let me know down below. Let me know if you read any of these books. Let me know what your thoughts were. Let me know what reviews you're looking forward to. Y'all, in these times, like we say every election cycle, I don't like election season, but it's very true for the future of our country. Please be informed. Please be an informed voter. Please be an educated voter. Please vote. Use that right if you have it. I know sometimes it seems bleak and you're like, what's the point? What's the purpose? But your vote does count. And many people have bled and lost their lives for your ability to do so. So that is it for me today. I am Ms. Malcolm Hughes, one who believes that books are sometimes better than people. And until the next one, please remember to give time, to be kind to each other, and to have the very best day of your life on purpose. Peace, odabo, adios. Ciao.